Today, I am announcing my candidacy for the 2024 Republican nomination to represent Colorado's 4th Congressional District. This is the right move for Colorado.
This is the right move for Colorado.
Finally, before we let you go, we have to ask you about Lauren Boebert making this announcement that she is not going to seek re-election in her district, that she's going to seek it in a district on the other side of the state, the 4th District.
From a party perspective, we certainly don't think it was the best move. Time will tell whether or not we're right, but I think she's got a serious challenge on her hands trying to explain to the voters of CD4 why she felt it was necessary to leave CD3 and have a better chance at keeping her seat in Congress.
Oh, that's gonna hurt!
Uh-oh. Seems like Lauren Boebert's desperate decision to transfer districts is as popular as Boebert herself at a child-friendly musical.
Lauren Boebert, we have a montage of some of the stuff she's been saying. God forbid a child see the fake boobies of a drag queen. Apparently the fake boobies of a trash queen are okay.
After the ultra-MAGA Republican took to Facebook to announce that she's abandoning her constituents for an easier run in next year's election, seeing as the 3rd district she currently presides over leans 9 percentage points in Republicans' favour, while the 4th district that she's fleeing to leans 27 points towards the GOP.
It's the congressional district with a true divide. Urban Douglas County and rural Eastern Plains, the urban-rural divide. This is Congressional District 4. It covers Highlands Ranch, Parker, Castle Rock, Loveland, Windsor, and the Eastern Plains. And it's the district Republican Congresswoman Lauren Boebert now wants to represent, which is significantly more Republican than Congressional District 3 on the western slope in southern Colorado.
It seems that her decision, well, it isn't in line with the will of her fellow Colorado Republican. Seeing as Colorado GOP Chair Dave Williams appeared on CNN to discuss Boebo's attempts to remain relevant. And let's just say he wasn't too pleased with her choice.
From a party perspective, we certainly don't think it was the best move.
Colorado Republican Party Chair Dave Williams told CNN today, seeing Boebert want to swap districts is not ideal.
Finally, before we let you go, we have to ask you about Lauren Boebert making this announcement that she is not going to seek re-election in her district, that she's going to seek it in a district on the other side of the state, the 4th District. Are Coloradans cool with that kind of thing? Someone who isn't from their district representing them?
From a party perspective, we certainly don't think it was the best move. We felt that she was best suited for Congressional District 3 and that she was in the best position to win re-election and retain that for Republicans. Time will tell whether or not we're right, but I think she's got a serious challenge on her hands trying to explain to the voters of CD4 why she felt it was necessary to leave CD3 and have a better chance at keeping her seat in Congress. It's kind of a problematic proposition, but it's again, it's something for the voters to decide.
All right, Colorado Republican Party Chair Dave Williams, we appreciate you being with us. Thank you.
Now, it's one thing if opposing political members and I point out the obvious desperation of someone buried under a mountain of controversies and never-ending hypocrisy having to swap districts to remain employed.
Very quickly, one of your colleagues that you have often had to put in their place, Lauren Boebert, has recently announced that she is going to be running in a different congressional district.
Since the first day I ran for public office, I promised I would do whatever it takes to stop the socialists and communists from taking over our country. That means staying in the fight.
So let me tell you, right now, Republicans are all MAGA based on their voting record, but they know that a Lauren Boebert cannot win in a swing district.
But when your own party members are declaring it as a mess, you know it's bad. Now, it is worth pointing out the timing of Lauren's announcement is kind of interesting, no? Considering it comes mere weeks after President Biden visited her district, a district that has added hundreds of jobs thanks to the Inflation Reduction Act, an act that Boebert herself not only opposed, but called a, quote, massive failure.
The historic investments we're celebrating today is in Congresswoman Boebert's district. She's one of the leaders of this extreme mega movement. She, along with every single Republican colleague, voted against the law that made these investments in jobs possible. And that's not hyperbole, that's a fact.
MAGA Republican Lauren Boebert talking. I apologize in advance for even showing this to you, but.
And it does the exact opposite
opposite of what Americans need right now. This is just another con game by the Democrats, calling something one thing and saying another.
Expired.
This is making the IRS, which
Gentlewoman's time has expired.
The Pentagon, the State Department,
gentlewoman is no longer recognized. The gentleman from Missouri reserves the belt.
Mr. Speaker, how much time do you need?
The gentlewoman is no longer recognized.
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. If it weren't so important to be humorous, unless you call it a massive failure, the only massive failure occurs in their thinking. We've created so many new good-paying jobs.
The CS wind turbine manufacturing plant in Boebert's district is now the largest wind turbine tower manufacturer in the world, set to provide a steady flow of stable, high-paying jobs for her constituents. Some failure that is, right?
I hope she comes back here and tells the people in this factory, the largest wind turbine factory in the world, that this is a massive failure. It's her district. Invite her to come back. Come back and tell the folks back home this is a massive failure. Tell the folks back home that all that we've done to generate economic growth is not worth it. And I'd like to ask her to explain how she supports not taxing billionaires more than 8%. I have trouble explaining it. But then again, I probably shouldn't waste my time trying to.
As opposed to the district's current elected official who not only votes against the interests of her own constituents, but gleefully abandons them as soon as the going gets tough.
You know, we are addressed as MAGA extremists, extreme MAGA Republicans, and I would like to make just a clarification point. It's ultra MAGA.
They know that a Lauren Boebert, and honestly, it doesn't really matter what Republican you run in that district. When we look at the Republicans that are currently sitting in the House, regardless of what they say, they elected unanimously to put MAGA Mike at the head of the House. So I don't care if they say they're middle ground. I don't care if they want to claim that they're not like the Lauren Boeberts of the world. But they did that along with voting for the impeachment inquiry on Joe Biden, even when people like Ken Buck said there's not enough here. So let me tell you, right now, Republicans are all MAGA based on their voting record, but they know that a Lauren Boebert cannot win in a swing district.
If you ask me, this should be another wake-up call for the 3rd District in Colorado, seeing as Boebert and Republicans who coddle her don't have their best interest in mind, clearly.
I've made my own personal mistakes and have owned up and apologized for them.
It's time that we acknowledge something that may be obvious by now. We hold Republican Congresswoman Lauren Boebert to a different standard than every other elected official in Colorado. We hold Congresswoman Boebert to a far lower standard. Held her to the same standard as every other elected Republican and Democrat in Colorado, we would be here near nightly chronicling the cruel, false, and bigoted things that Boebert says for attention and fundraising.
John Pedora here, Democrat running for Congress in Colorado's 4th Congressional District. I announced my campaign for CD4 in May, and now we've just learned that Lauren Boebert is jumping into this district. Boebert's a carpetbagger who's abandoned her district because she's afraid of losing. She has no interest in governing the people who first elected her. She just wants the privileges and the money that come from being in Congress. You deserve someone who will serve you. Can you please rush in anything you can today to make sure that we have the resources we need to beat Lauren Boebert? Thank you.
Hey Meidas Mighty, love this report? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram @MeidasTouch to keep up with the most important news of the day. What are you waiting for? Follow us now.